Right, so we are back with another bike review. This time it is the Transalp, the 750 from Honda. We're very lucky to get this for a little while, not as long as the other bikes, but it's been great to kind of test it out because we took it to the Openroads rally here in Licola. We managed to do a lot of riding on it. It's done about 1,800 Ks on the road, and it did a couple of hundred Ks on the dirt, which I think it's kind of a really good review for these things because we got to put it in kind of all the scenarios, and especially at this weekend, it's been an on and off with the rain. I think the drive down, it was biblical rain. So this is kind of our review on it. This is kind of what we think of it, and kind of I believe that it's probably one of the bikes that really surprised me the most. So let's dive into it. Right, so we'll start with its on-road capabilities because I feel a lot of people would think adventure bikes are mainly for on-road because they're not enduro bike. This bike has done over 1,500 Ks, I think, on road so far. It's got another 800, 900 Ks to get home. And it seems to go all right. It's comfortable on the long trips. It doesn't have cruise control, which is a big thing, I think, for adventure bikes because it just sitting there at one throttle position sucks. No heated grips, none of this stuff. It's very basic, which I think is good in some ways. I mean, when we rode the Tiger, that had more bells and whistles than anything. It had more kind of creature comforts in my car. So to come on back onto this was great. It's a bit more simple. However, we rode this through one of the heaviest downpours I think I've ever ridden a bike on, and the water came straight up in here. I'm not too sure why, just because I suppose the ergonomics and the aerodynamics of the bike, the water would come straight up and through your handlebars and just completely cover you. So I know there are some wind deflectors that you can get in here, but that was kind of a bit off-putting. I know Turtle mentioned it because obviously he rode it a little bit as well. He mentioned it was kind of right in your face. So that's not a good sign for the highway. Outside that, it does chew a bit of fuel. We found on the real big open stuff, it kind of sucked it a little bit in, and which I guess is fine. It didn't do it as much on the off-road when you're really hard on the throttle on and on and off, so not too sure what's going on there. But let's talk about the off-road. Now, off-road, this thing is amazing. Turtle rode a lot of it yesterday on one of the tracks here at Licola, and it was a beast. It was great. He got it everywhere. I mean, the tyre choice was a little, probably not what we should have had. This is probably more a drier tyre. We needed something more aggressive. We went with the Plu's Big Boys on the other bikes, and that was the way to go because that's a motocross tyre. So aside the tyre, this bike was fantastic. I mean, the river crossings that we went through, the descents and the inclines were just huge. And for never riding this kind of bike, it was amazing. And the biggest thing that we found and the feedback that we got was the tunability on this bike is huge. For a bike that costs way less than 20 grand, I think that's 16 grand or something along those lines, the amount of tunability in this bike is fantastic. If you wanted a mid-range adventure bike, not the big 1200, 1300s, but not like a 500 or 450, this bike has so much for you. And we couldn't imagine just how much you could tune the bike. Yeah, there was sports mode and on-road mode and rain mode and all that kind of stuff, but the off-road mode on this was crazy. Turtle was able to keep up with us everywhere, and then when I had to go on it, it was super fun. Like so much flickability. You could maneuver the bike. It does look like a big bike, but at the same time, the power package on this is really good. The clutch is really nice. So if you did get in trouble on a hill, you could just feather that clutch and really ride it all the way to the top. The other side of that, it was the brakes were really good. I know on all the other big bikes here, there were a lot of brake fades on some of the down clothes. I mean, we're in the Vic High country. Like, there's some amazing tracks out here, but the downs are far out. So this did surprise me. It didn't get the brake fade like a lot of the other big bikes, and the great thing was, even when it did get a bit spongy, it took a long time. Like some of them were just so long that when you got to the river, it was a bit spongy. Through the river, it was gone. So, I mean, I think one track was 140 something Ks long, 130 something Ks long. This didn't have any issues. Absolutely smashed it, and only used, I think, a quarter of a tank of fuel. So that is pretty crazy, seeing as we're pumping these things along, and no real issues to complain for at all. Now, as we also said, the bike here in its standard form is pretty much what you get. You get the kind of the luggage racks and all the bars, things like that, which is really important because Turtle had a little lay down on the thing, which is fine. The comments that we've got back though are these. Needs a bigger screen when you're on the highway because the screen doesn't really work very well. It does buff you around. So if you can find another one, I would recommend doing that. Bark busters, or whatever you want to use for crash bar protection, get some of them because they are important. And then once again, like the Tigers, when you get these kind of grab rails, it's very hard to use the soft like slings type bags that go over. You probably have to go get pannier racks if you want to continue to use this. So once again, it's going to be horses for courses, whatever you want to use, but you may want to remove this and put a B&B one on because it's just a bit easier to put stuff on. The fuel, as I said, on the highway, the fuel consumption is quite high. That is a bit of an interesting thing. Suspension-wise, spring rate on this is great. It is set up for Turtle and myself around the 100 and 110 mark, so it was great for that, plus all the luggage on the back, so around the 120 mark. The bike didn't seem to sag too much. We did play around with it a little bit, and I had a look at it yesterday about kind of what suspension you could do with it. There is a lot of options. Stel has advised me that there's a lot of options for this bike. The front does need to be stiffened up. I don't know what's going on in the front, but it can dive a little bit, especially on the brakes. Off-road, it did dive. So have a look at that as well. I think, as all bikes though, go get it tuned for yourself, for your what you're going to do anyway, and really learn how to set the sag. We've set a couple of videos up now with Stel about setting the sag. Do it, learn it, because I think that's really important with these bikes, because when we hit a couple of the washouts, you could really hear that back tire wanting to kiss the top of the guard. So go check out sag videos, get it sorted out on your bike, because that is a big issue. And I mean, you also have to take it into your chain as well, your chain, your sprockets, all those kind of things. If you don't do your sag right, it can have a lot of effects. So look, overall, this bike is great. I think it's a great starter platform for somebody who's in the mid-range bikes. We've looked at little bikes. We looked at kind of the smaller bikes, the 450s, I mean the 900s, 1200s, all that kind of stuff. This bike is just a great kind of run-in-the-mill mid-class bike. It's kind of in the same era as the 800 CF Moto, which is still a great bike as well. But I think if you want that Honda, that reliability, the motor just is strong and it's tight. The gearbox is great. I mean, it's got all the key things that a Honda has, and it kind of doesn't have the price tag of the Twin Africa, which obviously is its big brother. So I do think this is great. I'm actually trying to convince Turtle to buy one of this one, or CF Moto. So I think for what you want, and if you're in the adventure bike game and you just want something that you could probably poke around town on, go and have some fun here in the Vic High Country, or even just kind of in your local tracks, I wouldn't go past this bike. I said the things that are wrong with it, like say screen and suspension and things like that, are easy to fix. I mean, and they're going to be a part of every bike. But for the ability to tune it engine-wise to what you want, I mean, you can even choose engine braking on this thing. That's crazy. Its ability off-road and just its Honda reliability, I think this is definitely one of those mid-range adventure bikes that's good for you. So if you enjoy this video, check it out, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.